You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
Are you ready for this? Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's Wednesday. It's January 21st, 2015, and welcome to the BCS Experience. History, arts, culture, politics, in review and discussion. I'm Byron C. Saunders, your host with the most. The BCS Experience takes a look at our rich history, African American history. We're going to share with you some known and unknown historical facts and information from the past and connect the dots on how they have impacted on our present-day events and how they will definitely shape our future as African Americans in this country and around the world. The BCS Experience, history, arts, culture, politics, in review and discussion. This is Internet Radio and will be aired live every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. from the studios of the BW Moving Images on the GoPro Radio Network. You see, I'm really excited about this opportunity to talk to you all across the country and around the globe. I want you to tune in every week on your computer or your phone. See, I want you to become a loyal listener, and I personally invite you to lend your voices to this radio talk show, to express your opinions on my weekly topics. This is social network radio at its finest. Now, here's the number for you to call in to be a part of tonight's discussion. Call 347-884-9839. Once again, that number to call is 347-884-9839. Wow, this week's topic, oh my goodness gracious, history, history, history. A celebration of known and unknown heroes and sheroes that need to be recognized for their amazing contributions to the rich cultural legacy of African Americans and the African diaspora. Oh, my goodness, my goodness. A lot of history this week. A lot of history still to go. See, my show is the new Underground Railroad Express. Next stop is your neighborhood. All aboard to freedom and to Freedom Land. All right, let's get into this. This is history, history, history. The date, it's Saturday. It's January the 20th, the year 1838. You see, on this date, in 1838, the registry celebrates the Weeksville section of Brooklyn, New York. This is an African-American community that was built by blacks for blacks before emancipation. In 1838, only 11 years after slavery ended in New York State, a free black man, James Weeks, purchased a modest plot of land from Henry C. Thompson, another free black man. That land in what is now central Brooklyn became Weeksville, a thriving, self-sufficient black community. Weeksville quickly became a safe haven for Southern blacks fleeing slavery and free Northern blacks fleeing racial hatred and violence, including the deadly Civil War draft riots in Lower Manhattan. It was established as a suburban enclave on the outskirts of Brooklyn by 1850, and Weeksville became the second largest known independent black community in pre-Civil War America. Weeksville was also the only black community whose residents were distinctive for their urban rather than rural occupations, and the only one that merged into a neighborhood of a major American city after the Civil War. Additionally, 19th century Weeksville had a higher rate of African American property ownership than 15 other U.S. cities and more job opportunities than 10 other northern cities. By the 1860s, Weeksville had its own schools, churches, an orphanage, an old age home, a variety of black-owned businesses, and one of the country's first black newspapers, Freedman's Torchlight. Almost 500 families headed by ministers, doctors, teachers, tradesmen, and other self-reliant citizens lived in Weeksville by the 1900s. Its citizens included Alfred Cornish, a member of the 54th Regiment whose story was told in the film Glory. Dr. Susan Smith McKinney Stewart, the first female African-American physician in New York State and the third in the nation. Moses P. Cobb, the first African-American policeman in Brooklyn's 9th Ward, and Junius C. Morrell, a well-known educator, journalist, and activist. Weeksville covered 7 blocks and was a model of African-American entrepreneurial success, political freedom, and intellectual creativity. Its residents participated in every major national effort against slavery and for equal rights for people of color, including the Black Convention movement, voting rights campaigns, the Underground Railroad, the Civil War, resistance to the draft riots in New York City, freedmen's schools, and African nationalism. According to one historian, Public School 83 in Weeksville became the first public school in the nation to integrate fully its teaching staff. The community still existed through the 1930s, but by the mid-1950s, Weeksville was all but forgotten, and many of its structures and institutions replaced by new roads and buildings. In the 1960s, Weeksville was an historical footnote that historian James Hurley and pilot Joseph Hayes set out to research from the air. The Weeksville Society carries on the tradition of this beautiful community year-round, mainly through the tireless work of the late and my dear friend Joan Maynard. Their Oasis newsletter is packed with valuable information from their Black History Month celebration, their summer workshops, and much more. Folks, don't wait till Black History Month to go visit Weeksville in Brooklyn, New York. It's a wonderful place to visit and a community that is still thriving right here in New York City. Ho, ho, Weeksville. And if you haven't been there, I'm telling you, you're missing something. They just opened up a brand new community center there, and a theater space and more classrooms, and they've got ongoing exhibits. So do yourself a big favor. See, when you come to New York City, there's more to see than the Empire State Building. Go on over to Brooklyn and enjoy Weeksville, African American community and a historical society. All right, I want to hear from you. Let's connect the dots and make sense out of it all. Let's talk. Call me, 347-884-9839. We're talking history tonight, people. I got so much history for you. We'll even give you a review of Selma, the movie. Very special movie. Got to talk about it. Got to go see it. It's about our history, ladies and gentlemen, and it's live and in living color. And this week, if you don't know about anything, you're celebrating Martin Luther King's celebration and the president's great speech last night. Booyah! In your face, Republicans. Oh, did he hit a home run or not? Okay, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Very powerful speech indeed. All right, we're going to go back to the history table. You see, tonight my very special guest is you, my listening audience, with another opportunity to appreciate our rich cultural history and learn how it impacts on our lives today. So we're going to jump right back into some more history. The date. It's Friday, January the 20th. The year is 1888. You see, on this date, the birth of Dr. Austin Maurice Curtis Sr., in 1868 is celebrated on this date. He was an African-American doctor. From Raleigh, North Carolina, he was a prominent turn-of-the-century physician and protege of none other than Dr. Daniel Hale Williams. See, I know you know some of these names, but you didn't know he had a protege, not in the name of Dr. Austin Maurice Curtis Sr. All right. Anyway, his first internship took place at Chicago's Providence Hospital in 1891. He was also the first black surgeon on staff of Cook County Hospital, a non-segregated hospital, in 1896. Curtis was a professor of surgery at Howard University for 25 years and chief surgeon at Freedman's Hospital from 1898 to 1938. He died in 1939. I know Freedman's Hospital. That's where my sister was born, in Washington, D.C. Wow, that's going way back in old Griffith Stadium where the Washington Senators played, and the Wonder Bread factory right there on Georgia Avenue. See, I know y'all know old school. That's right, smelling good every week. Anyway, that's right. This doctor was very prominent, as have been many who stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. Did you know that medicine was started in Egypt, in Africa? Not in Greece, not in Rome. Come on now. Let's talk about our rich cultural history. That's why we have the BCS Experience on the GoPro Radio Network. Because every week I'm bringing you some new history, some new facts, some new guests. All right, we're going to continue. Oh, this one's a good one. The date, it's Sunday. It's January the 20th, 1895. So we moved a little ahead. Yeah, but this is the date on Eva Jesse. Was born on this date in 1885. Now, I know you never heard about Eva Jesse, but if you haven't, I bet you the opera world knows about her. I bet you Jesse Norman knows about her. In fact, I bet you Jesse might have gotten her name from this woman. Anyway, Eva Jesse was born on this date in 1895. She was an African-American singer, composer, choral director, and actress. She was one of the few musical phenomenons of the 20th century. Born Eva Alberta Jesse in Coffeyville, Kansas, near Oklahoma. Her father supported the family as a chicken picker. She was an avid reader who sang as a child, writing her first poem at the age of 7, winning a contest at 13. Jessie studied choral music and music theory at the now-defunct Western University in Quindaro, Kansas, graduating in 1914. She also received a degree from Langston University. She taught in an elementary school in Taft, Oklahoma, and spent classroom time in Haskell and Muskogee as well. In 1926, Jessie moved to New York to pursue a career in music and theater, getting her first break at the Capitol Theater, playing with Major Bowles. It was here that she met and became a protege of black classic composer Will Marion Cook. An expert in harmonics, Jessie's literary and musical accomplishments spanned over 75 years. She was world-renowned as a poet and composer. In 1935, she was appointed the original choral conductor of George Gershwin's Porgy and Bess, and is regarded as the unofficial guardian of the musical score. Jessie's authentic touches to the piece deepened its cultural flavor of the black experience for the fine translation by Gershwin. She was featured in the 1944 first annual I Am an American Day, initiated by the then mayor of New York City. The Eva Jesse Choir performed in concert at major universities and colleges throughout America for more than 40 years. In 1963, Jesse directed the official choir for the historic March on Washington. The Afro-American Studies Department at the University of Michigan awarded her a degree in determination in 1976. In 1987, after receiving an honorary doctor or art from Eastern Michigan University at the age of 92, she wrote, You see, I am still cutting cane and chopping cotton with might and main with wide acclaim. Oh, my goodness, this sister was bad. She carried on all the way till her 90s. During her lifetime, she shared her wisdom and talents, her resonant voice, twinkle in her eye, and alertness and depth of mind spoke of her greatness. Eva Jessie died on February 21st, 1992. Wow. Now, see, this is a person I know you didn't know of, who directed the choir at the very famous March on Washington. Anyway, we got to take a break here, folks. This is History, History, History on the GoPro Radio Network on my show, The BCS Experience. So don't go away. We got more to come. We'll be right back after these words.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a great opportunity. If you have an event, product, service, talent, or something important to say, now is your chance. You can have your very own radio show. Whether you're just starting out or a veteran looking for a professional platform to enhance your presentation and following, the GoPro Radio Network is the premier place to cultivate and share new and exciting content. We can help you grow your audience and keep it growing long after your first broadcast. Now you have a voice. Call 212-696-8562 or visit www.goproradio.com and you'll be amazed at how easy and affordable it is to have your very own professional radio show on the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
What if you can have an entire team of skilled professionals to help your business grow? Admin, accounts, marketing, and more, but only pay for the exact amount of support you need at virtually the same cost you'd pay for one full-time employee. With Virtual Professions, you can. One contact, one number gets you a team of virtual professionals for exactly what your business needs. It's 1-888-315-VPRO. That's 1-888-315-8776. Or online at www.virtualprofessions.net. Virtual Professions Incorporated, because you mean business.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
Experience. Hey, listen, I'm Byron C. Saunders, your host with the most. We're talking history, history, history. My goodness. Black History Month is no longer just February. In fact, for me, it's 365, 24/7. But I like to make sure that we get this history January, February, March. See, I'm making sure Black History Month has more than 28 days. That's what we really need. And if you don't know the history, you just stay tuned, because I'm going to showcase and give to you some known and unknown historical facts and information about our ancestors. You see, that's what the Underground Railroad Express is all about. Stop in, tune in, call in. 347-884-9839 so we can connect the dots. Once again, I want to hear from you. Let's connect the dots and make sense out of it all. Call me, 347-884-9839. I want to know if you know some of this history, or maybe you have some history from me that you would like to share on my show. Anyway, let's get back to it. This is talking about history, 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 a celebration of known and unknown heroes and sheroes that need to be recognized for their amazing contributions to the rich cultural legacy of African Americans and the African diaspora. I just gave you one that was amazing. That Eva Jessie. There should be a movie about her. My goodness. I mean, she lived into her 90s, and her career spanned so much. And yet, I bet you didn't even know about her. That's a shame. That's a shame. A sin and a shame. Anyway, we're going to keep moving forward. The date It's Saturday. It's January the 20th. The year, it's 1900. This was the date the opening of the Sturgis one-room school is celebrated on this date in 1900. You see, originally located on property owned by William T. Sturgis. This was an assembly built as a one-room school for Black Americans. The first graduating class was in the year 1921, and the school was closed in 1937, having the name of Macmillan School. William Sturgis lived there after the school closed. Later, the building was no longer occupied or used. It was moved from its original location approximately 7 miles south of Pocomoke City near Brantley Road to the corner of Front and Willow Streets. Local citizenry and the Worcester County Historical Society underwrote the move. Since its restoration and designation as a historical landmark, it is the only building of its kind in Worcester County. Now a museum, it is located at the corner of Front and Willow Streets, Pocomoke City, Maryland. Wow. Maryland, the state where the Mason-Dixon line is, where North and South is separated. A lot of history in Maryland. A lot of black folks lived in Maryland and still do. Visit these wonderful historic sites and museums. Get to know your ancestors, my friends. Get to know the people who stood up and made it possible for us to enjoy what we have today. It's not perfect what we have, but it's a long ways from where we were. But we need you to be in the movement. You see, the Civil Rights Movement just didn't start in the 60s. Civil Rights Movement began when we came off the ship over in Jones, in Virginia, and then any of the other states. So the Civil Rights Movement has been in effect now. It got a good energy boost in the 60s. But look at these people, these wonderful ancestors and heroes and sheroes who made it possible for our history to be rich as it is. Anyway, that's what the BCS experience is all about. All right, we're going to keep giving you more history. Here we go. The year, the date, it's Sunday. It's January 21st, and the year is 1906. You see, on this date, we mark the birth of Willa Brown in 1906. She was an African-American aviator, activist, and educator, and the first black officer in the Civil Air Patrol. Ho, ho, ho. That's right. She wasn't a stewardess. She was an air pilot, okay? From Glasgow, Kentucky, Willa Mae Brown received her Bachelor of Science degree in business from Indiana State Teachers College in 1927. And after graduating, she taught public school in Gary, Indiana, and Chicago, Illinois, where she developed an interest in aviation. In 1935, Brown received a Master's Mechanics certificate from the Aeronautical University in Chicago, and 3 years later, received a private pilot's license with a near flawless score of 96%. She then earned a master's in business administration from Northwestern University and a civil aeronautics administration ground school instructor's rating. When Brown married Cornelius Coffey, the two formed the Coffey School of Aeronautics to train African-American pilots. Willa Brown retired in 1971 as a school teacher, and she died of a stroke in 1992. So you see, we talk a lot about the Tuskegee Airmen. What you didn't know was that there was a woman way before the Tuskegee Airmen who got her license to pilot in this country. Willa Brown, an amazing sister. African American history, ladies and gentlemen. See, these are the stories that we got to put in our school system for black and white kids, not just for African American kids. You see, African American history is American history, and there's no reason to have it separated for just 28 days. And I got a bone to pick with most of the school systems across America for having Black History in February anyway, because during the month of February, most of your schools are shut down a whole week for what they call energy conservation. What the? Excuse me. I almost let it go. And you know what they're not teaching? So it's the same cavalcade of heroes and sheroes every February. You know what? I haven't yet mentioned one that I know is being taught in the schools today. See, this is why we need a whole new curriculum. This is our story. This is our history. This is how we're going to liberate those who are still in bondage. Got to give them their stories. Got to let them know who they are and how rich their ancestors are. We're talking about kings and queens, okay? So we're going to keep moving forward. We got more history. Let's see, where are we? Okay, before we take another break, I can get this one in. The date. It's Thursday. It's January the 17th. It's 1924. Jewel Plummer Cobb was born on this date in 1924. She is an African-American educator and research scientist. Cobb was born in Chicago to physician Frank and Carabelle Cole Plummer, a school teacher. Her grandfather, a freed slave, became a pharmacist, initiating 4 generations of medical practitioners. She earned a Bachelor of Science from Talladega College in 1944. She earned a Master's of Science from New York University in 1947. Awarded a PhD in cell physiology from New York University in 1950. She has served as a researcher, a college professor, and administrator, as well as a staunch supporter for greater minority participation in scientific careers. Much of Cobb's research has been focused on the skin pigment melanin, and her most significant research has been with testing new chemotherapeutic drugs in cancer cells, the impact of which continues. She has held several teaching and administrative positions at major universities. From 1960 to 1969, she was a professor at Sarah Lawrence College. Dr. Cobb was elected to membership in the Institute of Medicine in 1974. From 1969 to 1976, she served as dean and professor of zoology at Connecticut College. She has been the trustee professor since 1990 and, since 1991, director of the Access Center at California State University in Los Angeles. Formerly president of California State University in Fullerton, 1981 to 1990, Dr. Cobb has done extensive cancer research specializing in cell biology and was a member of the National Science Board from 1974 to 1980. Although her interest in biology could have led her to become a medical doctor, Cobb was not interested in working directly with the sick. She was nonetheless interested in the theory of disease, an interest that later led her to become one of the leading cancer researchers in the United States. Cobb is the recipient of several honorary doctorates and many, many awards, including the Kilby Award for Lifetime Achievement in 1995. A supporter of equal access to educational and professional opportunity, Cobb has written often about racial and sexual discrimination in the sciences and has raised funds to allow more minorities to enter into the field. Since her retirement, Cobb, who was named president and professor of biological science emerita at California State University at Fullerton and trustee professor at California State University at Los Angeles, has continued her research. Now, we talk a lot about cancer in this country and around the world. Here's a African-American woman who is a specialist born in 1924, and you never heard of her. I got more on the way. Stay tuned to the BCS Experience on the GoPro Radio Network. We'll be right back after these important messages.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a great opportunity. If you have an event, product, service, talent, or something important to say, now is your chance. You can have your very own radio show. Whether you're just starting out or a veteran looking for a professional platform to enhance your presentation and following, the GoPro Radio Network is the premier place to cultivate and share new and exciting content. We can help you grow your audience and keep it growing long after your first broadcast. Now you have a voice. Call 212-696-8562 or visit www.goproradio.com and you'll be amazed at how easy and affordable it is to have your very own professional radio show on the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
We are an amazing people, rooted in Africa, the cradle of human civilization. Descendant of the awesome men and women who made a way out of no way. People steeped in the values of truth, justice, respect, harmony, balance, reciprocity, and order. But 400 years of enslavement, Jim Crow, and racism, fueled by the lie of black inferiority, have taken their toll. The result? Too much pain, too much hurt, too much loss. We owe our ancestors, ourselves, and our children so much more than this. Join the movement for emotional emancipation, healing, and wellness for Black people. Go to communityhealingnet.org and take the pledge to defy the lie and embrace the truth. That's communityhealingnet.org. Our children and our ancestors are waiting.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
All right, we're back on the BCS Experience, and I'm Byron C. Saunders, your host with the most. Listen, we're talking history here today, okay? We're getting ready for Black History Month, 365, 24/7. That's the way we do it down here. Any event, I need your support. You're listening to my show on the GoPro Radio Network. I've been here going on my 4th year starting in February. And the way this works, folks, is that we're listener-sponsored radio. I need your support. GoPro Radio needs your support. That's talking dollars and cents. We all know the importance of Black radio and what it means to have a station that can continue to bring you this kind of show and the shows that the GoPro Radio Network bring you. We're the fastest growing network in the galaxy, ladies and gentlemen. But you need to be a part of this. That's why we're listener sponsored. And how does that work? You just go to goproradio.com. Click on the menu that says donation. And when you get to that menu, here's what you're going to do. You're going to make a pledge, a donation. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Make a pledge. Make a donation. But here's what's even more important. To keep my show live and in living color on this wonderful network, make your donation and indicate that you want it to go to the BCS Experience. That's all it takes. It's real easy. And I want to thank you in advance for being a sponsor and a patron and a listener. All right, let's get back to some more history. I got history for you. You want to talk to me or you just want to listen? It's okay by me because history is a learning experience anyway. So let's pay attention. But if you want to call me and talk, 347-884-9839. Once again, that number to call is 347-884-9839. 884-9839. All right, we're going to jump back in it. Now, if you haven't paid attention, you may have noticed I've been leading you geographically up the Potomac, in through Maryland, up the Mississippi, going all the way up to Chicago, because this next person is my person of the week. I got to take my hat off to this individual, because on this date, let's go to the history. Here we go. The history is right here. Uh-oh, the producer just walked in. Come on in here, producer. You're going to love this one. All right, here's the experience that I want you to have today, my friends. The date. It's Tuesday. It's January the 20th. Mr. Producer, the year 2009. Do you know what happened on that date? Okay, all right. Jeopardy answer, please, only in a question. All right, here we go. It was on this date. You see, this is why history is important, people. It was on this date in 2009 the first African American became president of the United States of America. That's right. Okay. Yes, that's right. The inauguration of Barack Obama as the 44th president of the United States took place with a record attendance for an event held in Washington, D.C. It marked the commencement of the 4-year term, now going into 6, of Obama as president and Joseph Biden as vice president. With his inauguration as president of the United States, Obama also became the first president born in Hawaii, our 50th state. The theme of the 56th inauguration was A New Birth of Freedom, commemorating the 200th anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln. The inauguration celebration began on January 17, 2009, with a train ride from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Officials events were held in Washington, D.C. from January 18th to 21st, 2009, including the We Are One, the Obama inaugural celebration at the Lincoln Memorial, a day of service on the federal observance of the Martin Luther King Jr. Days, a kids' inaugural, We Are the Future concert event at the Verizon Center, the inaugural ceremony at the U.S. Capitol, an inaugural luncheon at National Statuary Hall, a parade along Pennsylvania Avenue, 10 inaugural balls at the Washington Convention Center and elsewhere, a private White House gala, and an inaugural prayer service at the Washington National Cathedral. As of January 30th, 2009, Obama's 2009 Presidential Inauguration Committee raised more than $53 million, with at least 458 people giving the committee imposed maximum amount of $50,000, including the George Soros, Halle Berry, Jamie Foxx, Sharon Stone, Samuel L. Jackson, Jeffrey Katzenberg, Ron Howard, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, Robert Zemeckis, and Lisa Henson, daughter of Jim Henson. Unlike political campaigns, an individual or corporation could contribute to an inaugural celebration without legal restrictions on the amount of the donation. However, Obama's Presidential Inauguration Committee, which included Penny Pritzker, John R. Rogers Jr., Pat Ryan, William Daley, and Juliana Smoot as members, set a $50,000 contribution limit. To underscore its commitment to change business as usual, the Inauguration Committee did not accept donations from PACs, federally registered lobbyists, and corporations. In spite of its commitment, the committee did accept donations from individuals who had active lobbying interests but were not classified as registered lobbyists, such as executives from Google and Microsoft executives Eric Schmidt and Steve Ballmer. In 2005, numerous corporations contributed $250,000 to the second inauguration of George W. Bush, which cost an estimated $42.3 million, not including security costs. Obama's inauguration was expected to cost $45 million from Obama's Presidential Inaugural Committee and near $50 million from Washington, D.C. for security costs. Some estimates cost soared to more than 150 to 170 million for Washington, D.C., and more than 11 million for neighboring states such as Maryland. Well, I chose this as my person of the week because if you didn't get a chance to watch the State of the Union address last night, you might remember several years ago, the Republican congressman, during his speech, called him a liar in the middle of his State of the Union address and was really insulting of the man of the highest office in this country. I mean, who the hell was that legislator and who did he think he was to call the president a liar? Any of it, last night, you had to be a witness to this because the president was giving his speech and extolling the virtues of his past 6 years and the fact that he has been succeeding economically, politically, socially, militarily, all levels, financially. I mean to tell you, it's amazing what the president has been able to do without Congress. So last night, during his presentation, he made the comment about he's not running any more campaigns. And so the Republicans, in their stupid, insulting manner, as they have continued to be insulting throughout this entire administration's agenda, they applauded. The Republicans applauded that he didn't have to have any more campaigns to run. Obama, quick on his feet, turned to them and said, by the way, I've already won 2 of them, so I don't need to campaign anymore. An anecdote, a little something to stick in your face. And by the way, don't send no bills up to my office that I already told you is going to be vetoed. He's not a lame duck president, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very powerful man who knows his position. He has trumped them every single time. They've thrown everything at him but the kitchen sink. And I think they actually threw that at him, and he said, you know what? He did that brush-off thing that he does so well. Y'all see that on TV? Okay, I hope y'all are seeing that. That's the presidential move right there. Anyway, President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, the first lady and the first family, I salute you all because it is you're the first family. I grew up in Washington, D.C., and I got to tell you, this is the first presidential family that I consider whose character is above reproach in every single way. You know, Mamie Eisenhower was an alcoholic. Oh, yeah, you didn't know that. Okay. Ha! That's right. Yeah, she was a boozer. Okay. We know about Bill Clinton. He likes cigars. That's right. Hey, Bush, the second one. He snorted cocaine. Okay. Oh, yeah, all this is detailed information that's American history, of course. You know, but let's talk about the first family, the Bush versus Obama family. Okay, the Obama family, the young ladies comport themselves as a family should be. They are the model family for America, ladies and gentlemen. So, Barack Obama, I salute you. You're one bad brother. And thank goodness we got 2 more years because Republicans will not and cannot do better than what you've done thus far. They keep saying they got the power to do it, but hey, it remains to be seen. I hear so much of what you're saying, Republicans, but I only see what you're really doing and can accomplish. All right. We got another break here. It's a break coming up right now because when we come out of the break, we're going to talk about Selma. I got a review of Selma. I want you to go see this movie. So stay tuned to the BCS Experience. We'll be right back after these very important messages.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
What if you can have an entire team of skilled professionals to help your business grow? Admin, accounts, marketing, and more, but only pay for the exact amount of support you need at virtually the same cost you'd pay for one full-time employee. With Virtual Professions, you can. One contact, one number gets you a team of virtual professionals for exactly what your business needs. It's 1-888-315-VPRO. That's 1-888-315-8776. Or online at www.virtualprofessions.net. Virtual Professions Incorporated, because you mean business.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a great opportunity. If you have an event, product, service, talent, or something important to say, now is your chance. You can have your very own radio show. Whether you're just starting out or a veteran looking for a professional platform to enhance your presentation and following, the GoPro Radio Network is the premier place to cultivate and share new and exciting content. We can help you grow your audience and keep it growing long after your first broadcast. Now you have a voice. Call 212-696-8562 or visit www.goproradio.com and you'll be amazed at how easy and affordable it is to have your very own professional radio show on the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
All right, we're back on the BCS Experience. Hey, we're in the final segment here. We're taking you home. One more stop to make on the Underground Railroad Express. I'm in your neighborhood. Come on, get on board. Let's go to freedom and to freedom land. All right. Well, having said that, let's talk Selma. 50 years ago, Selma, Alabama. The march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, that Bloody Sunday. That's what it's been called, Bloody, Bloody Sunday. That was a day that Congressman John Lewis and Hosea Williams came within inches of losing their life, being beaten by the police, the state troopers in Selma, and dogs set upon them. You don't remember it? Well, I encourage you to go see the movie. The movie is brilliant. Now, with all due respect to 12 Years a Slave, because here's my review. I'm going to give it to you straight off because I went to go see it in one of the 19 selected cities before the original release date of last Friday. I saw it the day after Christmas in Atlanta, Georgia. All right. Here's my review of Selma. Oh my God, what a great movie. More than that, a really great movie that needs to be seen by everyone as a reminder of all the reasons why nonviolence works. It has proven to be the only thing throughout the history of mankind to bring peace on earth, goodwill to all men, women, children, and nations. As much as 12 Years a Slave is a very good movie. This movie, Selma, is far superior in every possible way as it brings to light the construct, the strategy, the commitment, the spirituality, and the known and unknown heroes and sheroes of the civil rights movement. Selma deserves a nomination in every category the Academy Awards has, and should win in each of those categories, including Best Documentary, as this film makes use of several documentary film footage that brings this film to an extraordinary height of filmmaking not seen for quite some time. Selma is brutally honest. And when I say brutally, I mean viewing those very brutal moments that depict the exacting toll that racism, hatred, and bigotry had on those 4 little girls that were bombed and murdered in their Birmingham, Alabama church, or the brutal murder by Alabama State Trooper of James Jackson in a Selma restaurant, or the brutal beatings of those registering to vote, or the brutal beatings of those protesters on that day in Selma when Congressman John Lewis and the late Reverend Hosea Williams led protesters across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. This film pulls no punches about telling the truth of a very shameful period of American history, that because of America's predilection to keep historical truths from its citizens, especially those that are racially motivated and sensitive issues and moments, as a way to alter history's truth and reality. Truth that is crushed to earth shall rise again. I came to Atlanta in the summer of 1973 with the purpose to connect to the spirit of the civil rights movement as I engaged my own personal journey to the freedom movement growing up in Washington, D.C. I was in D.C. when the nation was witnessing the racism and events unfolding all across the South and across the country. I remember it all. The assassinations of both Kennedys, Malcolm X, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Medgar Evers, Viola Luoso, and all of those martyrs who gave their lives for our people. I am so glad that I took my family to see this most important film, explaining to them and to my friends, family, and loved ones about a personal sojourn into the depths of the civil rights movement, and a full-time commitment to nonviolence is not always easy, folks. Unless you have traveled that road, most people never fully comprehend the realities of that kind of commitment. It also gave me the opportunity for my sons and my wife to better understand the person that I really am and continue to be. Our world has become so violent and confrontational that when a film like this comes along and really gives you a better than bird's eye view of the internal and external goings on of SCLC and SNCC, the FBI, and the federal government's attempts to crush the spirit of the movement and the spirit of those personally involved, we get a rare glimpse of the truth unfettered. Make your New Year's resolution to take your family and encourage your friends and loved ones to go see Selma. This is a gift that will no doubt release you from an explained and unexplained bondage to slavery. Make 2015 your personal journey to freedom and to Freedom Land. Happy New Year, my people. It's not only that we shall overcome, we will overcome. Peace and love always. I salute the people who made this film. Ava DuVernay, directed, written by Paul Webb, director of photography, Bradford Young, edited by Spencer Averick, music by Jason Moran, production design by Mark Friedberg, costumes by Ruthie Carter, a friend of mine. I went to school with Ruthie Carter at Hampton. Produced by Christian Colson, Dee Dee Gardner, Jeremy Kleiner, and Oprah Winfrey. Released by Paramount Pictures. Running time is 2 hours and 7 minutes. Folks, don't walk, run. You will need to see this picture. And here's something else to appreciate, because all the conversation about Selma only getting the nomination for the music and for Best Picture. Well, let me just tell you something. This movie wasn't made for Hollywood. This movie was made for us. And it's a rare opportunity when on this past Monday, celebrating Martin Luther King's Day celebration in America, several cities offered 7th, 8th, and 9th graders as an educational experience to go see this movie for free. You tell me the last time Hollywood did a movie like that. And in Selma, Alabama, the producers bought tickets for any resident who wanted to come see this movie for free. You see, this movie is not about Hollywood. It's not about the Academy Awards. You can't give an Academy Awards for a truth and a serious film like this. It deserves even better than that, because I guarantee you this, no matter what film wins this year or who wins what, 20, 30 years from now, the only film that's going to be remembered is Selma. That's how important it is, my friends. Don't just sit on the sidelines. Get involved. That's what the civil rights movement is about, your personal involvement to the rights and struggles of our people. All right? That's my editorial comment and my review. Hey, we've been listening to the BCS Experience on the GoPro Radio Network. How about that?
Are you ready for this?
The BCS Experience is GoProRadio.com, your social network's live talk radio show produced and sponsored by BW Moving Images. Tylon U. Xavier Washington, producer. Tylon U. Xavier Washington, my online engineer. He's doing it all today. And a special thank you to that fine music that you hear in the background. That's the Jazz Lounge Project and Andrew Julian Myers for my fabulous show's theme music. Listen, your support of BW Moving Images is important to us. And there is a wonderful documentary that my producer, Tylon U. Xavier Washington, has made. And it's here for you to purchase. It's entitled Disappearing Voices, The Decline of Black Radio. You need to have this, folks, in your library. And get on board to the GoPro Radio Network. Anyway, go online to disappearingvoices.com, make your purchase, and let them know you heard about it on the BCS Experience, and Tylon U. Xavier Washington will autograph it personally for you. Anyway, tune in next Wednesday when my show, the BCS Experience, will be on from 5 to 6 p.m. Coming up next is We the People with Sonny B. Sutherland from 6 to 7, followed by the Earl Morgan Hour from 7 to 8, and check out The Good Life from 8 to 9 with Adiaga and Shay, and then stay tuned in from 9 to 10 for the Sexy Party Show hosted by none other than Mr. Lucario and Pavia O'Connor. And then closing the Wednesday night schedule is The Roll-Up at 10 p.m. Oh, but by the way, now on Fridays at 9 p.m., check out In the Booth right here on the GoPro Radio Network. Hey, I'm Byron C. Saunders, and it's been all about the BCS Experience. Join me next Wednesday when my very special guest will be you, my listening audience, with another opportunity to appreciate our cultural history and learn how it impacts on our lives today. Until then, I'm out of here for the moment. Peace and love, always.